So 11 years ago, after I had my daughter, I went through the biggest depression of my life. And subsequently it got worse after each pregnancy that I had after that, which I had two more pregnancies. I had two sons and one daughter. Most people didn't know because it was a mask that I was keeping up. Rather than me taking care of myself, I was trying to look out for everybody else but myself. I did express that I needed, a break or that I needed time. And that went unheard. I got met with, you signed up for this. You a mother. That's what it's like to be a mother. And so, not wanting to feel like a failure as a mother, I just put the smiley face on and kept on about my business like nothing was going on inside of me. And I continued to do and do and do and do for everybody else. And then what ended up happening, like when you do that, people don't appreciate you doing all these things to try to make life easier or better for them. What they do is when you complaining about you being tired or you need some help, they make you feel like shit for needing help. They make you feel like something is wrong with you for needing a break. So I was met with a lot of that. And I dealt with this for years. Like I said, as I went on with subsequent pregnancies, it got worse and worse. So I began to self-medicate. I began smoking. Well, it ain't no began. I started back, should I say. I started back smoking weed. And I realized that wasn't helping me. That was really just making me dependent on the weed so that I could be happy or so that I could at least function. So I could keep that smiling face on even though I really wasn't smiling on the inside. I said this in, I want to say the video before, I felt like at some point I was dying inside. And like I say, not everybody knew that, but those that didn't really care either. So that even more so made me not want to reach out to other people because it's like, okay, well, the people around me, they see how much I'm doing. They see how tired I am, and they don't care. So why would I want to tell somebody else they don't even see what I'm going through? Why would I want to tell them? I was right. I was right. So fast forward to last year. I finally pulled myself out of that. I pulled myself out of it with prayer, meditation, and believe it or not, self-hypnosis. Yes, I hypnotized myself. It's a sister named Queen Afua, and she have a book called Sacred Woman. And in this book, I want to say it was toward the end of the book where she's talking about certain rituals. And I read this book, took notes and everything. But later on, I want to say after I had my second son, from my notes that I took from the book where she was speaking on self-hypnosis and ways to do it. And so I started this practice. Not just that, I shared it with others as well because I see how it was helping me with my own thoughts, reprogramming my mind. It was something that I didn't do consistently, but I did it enough that I was able to pull myself up out of that funk that I was in. And it was a funk. Oh, it was a funk. When I say you don't realize it's bad, but you don't realize how bad depression is until you start to come up out of it and you start to look at the destruction that you left behind when you was depressed. Whew. Rebuilding that back up. Oh my, I left the situation that I was in. Let me turn this, see a little bit better. Last year, I left the situation that I was in, and I moved back toward Chicago and Indiana. Before I got there, I also informed my family there because they didn't know, what I was going through before because I wasn't talking to anybody. Like I say, if the people that was seeing me every day where I was living didn't give a fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't feel comfortable. I'm already a person who have an issue with being vulnerable. So that's why these videos are very important for me because it's helping me to open up and be vulnerable. And I don't really care at this point in my life. I don't really care what anybody think about what I'm doing, what I'm saying. I don't care. One of the people that I shared, that I expressed probably the most of what I was experiencing and what I was thinking and what I was going through, that person later threw that all back up in my face, talked about me having mental issues and I need help and this, that, and the third, and all these other things. You know what I'm saying? And it was really based off something. It wasn't even based off of that. It was based off of something else that this person was mad at me about. And then I realized, like, being back there, like, a lot of people, they didn't, like, even though I told them what I was going through, a lot of people wanted me back in that area or back there for their own reasons. And when I did not live up to those reasons, I'm not talking to, like, I'm not even gonna say I'm not talking to. I'm gonna say honestly, like, a lot of them not really talking to me now, because I start to stand up for myself in those situations and start to look out for me. Like, at the time, I was really, like, still trying to be there for everybody else. You know, even though I was still healing myself, I was still trying to be that, doing the same thing I was doing before that got me into a depression in the first place. I started going back into that mode. And see, the thing is, I promised myself that I was never going back there. I promised myself I was never going to be depressed again. So with that in mind, and I was determined to keep that promise to myself. With that in mind, I left again. I moved on and I started to go back into my healing practice. Those healing practices consisted of, again, prayer, meditation, self-hypnosis, and I really, like, got into my creativity again. Like, that was a thing that I used to use, like, when I was younger, like, my creativity. I used to write and, you know, draw and do other things like that. And so I got back into those things, writing, drawing. I was scripting, like, literally, I know that may sound crazy, but I was scripting my life. I was writing scripts for my life, how I wanted things to go, how I wanted things to be, how I saw things. And I was pulling these things from within me, like meditation and prayer and self-hypnosis was helping me a lot with figuring out what it is that I wanted and what I didn't want. And so I did that. I was scripting, I was painting. And like I said, a lot of things I see, like, manifesting in front of me right now, a lot of that came from that right there. Like, from me doing that, from me scripting, from me meditating, from me self-hypnosis, from me praying. All those things came from what I'm manifesting now. That came from it, like, all of it. You know, my current mate, where I'm living, like, even the vehicle I'm driving. like seriously. Like, I found one of the scripts I wrote before I even left where I was living at, before I went to Chicago, Indiana. And one of the scripts that I wrote had, like, how I wanted the house to be. My bathroom looks exactly like, oh my God, it's like, it was so everything that I wrote, down to the vehicle, the mate that I wanted, like, how I wanted the relationship, like, everything. I found myself getting back into that same mode, like, putting everybody first, worrying about everybody else's problems. And I realized, like, people would, like, again, I found myself feeling like this again. Like, people don't really give a fuck when you going through shit on your own. Like, people know I was in a transition. I didn't even have a place to stay. I was living with family and stuff like that. I was going from place to place to place. And people didn't care. I had my children with me. I'm trying to maintain with, like, I wasn't working a 9 to 5, you know what I'm saying? But I managed money, you know what I'm saying? So I was maintaining, but you know what I'm saying? Like, like, what the situation is. You know what I was just going through. You know I'm coming here also, not just trying to get on my own 2 feet, but I'm coming from a situation where my children's father was the breadwinner, and I never intended on not being with him. Like, I intended on, keeping our family together and all this stuff. So, going from that to being on my own, and he wanted to teach me a lesson. So he wasn't really, like, and he didn't want me to leave. So he wasn't really forthcoming and helping me leave, and he didn't want me to leave. So They knew what I was going through. But when I went back to Chicago and Indiana, like people may not like, and these same people, like I said, I don't really talk to the majority of them right now. You know what I'm saying? Actually none of them. Now when I think about it, everybody that I went back to, like, because I wasn't compliant to what they wanted me to do. People had me there, try to get me into fights. I'm 41 years old. I'm 41 years old. People got me there trying to have me fighting. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the middle of fights trying to break fights up. People get mad at me because I'm not lying for them or helping them lie. Where I go, it's like it's some type of issue, and I'm getting wrapped. Like when you live with people, when you live with other people, they got their own things going on, and so that's overstood. But I'm getting wrapped into people's stuff, and I'm trying to help them, but like they want me to help them in the way they want me to help them. I'm trying to help them in a way that I feel is going to really help them. Like I'm thinking long term, and they thinking short term. Like just do this right now, just do this for me right now. And it's like I've never been a liar. I've never been a cheater. I don't condone that shit. Really, I don't even want people around me that be lying and cheat. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want that. I don't want that energy around me. And that go for anybody. I don't care who you are. I don't want you around me if you're a liar and you a cheater. You know what I'm saying? Like that energy just don't go well with me. I don't feel like I need to do that. I'm a divine being. I don't have to lie to nobody or cheat nobody out of nothing. I just don't. And I've always felt like that. I've never been like a cheater or somebody who feel like if I'm with somebody and I don't want to be with you no more, I have no problem with telling you I don't want to be with you. I don't need to go and sleep with somebody else or be with somebody else while I'm with you. Cause I like it just like that never made sense. Like just leave. That's me. That's always been me. Just leave. If I'm not happy with you, I'm just going to leave. I'm not gonna be lying and sneaking around like that. That's too much of a headache for me. That shit would stress me. You know, so that would stress me trying to cheat and sneaking back. Like no, that's never been my energy. So for people that know me and they want to get me involved in shit like that was beyond me. And then you mad at me like, cause my higher self wouldn't even let me. Like I know people wouldn't even believe me if I said like, if I told them like in some of them situations, it wasn't even me moving like that. It was like really my higher self. My soul wouldn't let me be involved in the shit. It wasn't even me that was consciously doing it, because the human side of me was like, okay, look, I don't want to be involved. I'm just gonna not say no. No, my soul was like, nah, you ain't finna participate in this shit. My soul, no, you ain't. My higher self was like, no, that ain't you. And you don't want to be involved in it. Like I said, people got me trying to fight people. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to fight a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, when I was younger, I used to fight a lot. But I was younger. Like, come on, man, I'm 41 with 3 children. What the fuck I look like out here fighting people shit? I go to jail. I'm there by myself, right? I'm there by children's father in another state. I'm there by myself. If I go to jail for jumping on somebody, beating somebody up, who gonna take care of my children? Y'all can't, because y'all got so much shit going on. Y'all don't even give a fuck. Y'all willing to jeopardize me and my children so I could do little stupid shit like that for y'all. Like, come on, man. So I felt myself slipping back into that depression. I felt it coming. And that's why I had to go. Because I realized, like, in that moment, and even when I left, like, I was still trying to be there for people in ways like I'm still like, I'm here in a hotel with my children. Motherfuckers reaching out for money. Hey, give me this, give me that. Can you send me this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even working a 9-to-5 job. Like, why the fuck is you asking me for money? But I'm trying to be, my bad. But I'm trying to be there for people, because if I'm in a situation and I'm in a band, like I try to treat people the way that I want to be treated. So if I'm in a situation, I'm in a band, I would want you to help me out if you can. So if I got it, even if it's like, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't loan people money. That's nothing. I don't loan. If I got it, I'm just going to give it to you. Because I know me, if I loan it to you, you say you're going to give it back, that's going to cause a problem. Not because of the money, because of the principle. Like I said, I don't like the line and shit. And I know 9 times out of 10, if you ask me for the money, you really don't have it to give back. So if I can't just give it to you, I ain't got it. Because I got other things I got going on. People don't understand. It's like, I realize that even with that, some people that I have been helping out for a while, as soon as I wasn't able to help them out, because I got my own stuff going and I'm trying to get things in order in my situation, as soon as I wasn't able to help them out, I don't hear from them no more. You know what I'm saying? People that I wouldn't laugh for, or that I didn't laugh for, or they think I was trying to throw them under the bus or get them caught up because I wasn't trying to laugh at them or cover their tracks, I don't hear from them no more. You can't pour from an empty cup. And that's what I was trying to do all that time. Like, even from like back before I left and went to Chicago, Indiana, I kept trying to pour from an empty cup. My shit wasn't full, and I kept trying to pour, kept trying to pour. Like I said, I come here, if I'm giving you all my money and I can't pay my bills, then who do I got to look, to say, hey, can you help me out? Who do I got to do that with? Nobody. So I gotta make sure I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And they go with anything. When my mental was fucked up and I'm going through a depression, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody cared about that. They were study trying to get me to involve in their shit. Trying to get me to lie and fight and do this and do that. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody cared about that. Nobody cared about that. Nobody cared. Even though I'm openly telling you, like, hey, this is what I was going through. And I'm trying to get out of this mold. Like, I done pulled myself this far up out of it. I just need a little bit more help so I can get on my feet and get me and my children in the crib. Da da da. Nobody cared about that like that. They wanted me to move into where they want me to move to in bogus ass neighborhoods. Don't just take anything. Just go anywhere. So you can like, people just didn't really care. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't up to them to care. It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't up to them to care. It was up to me to care. With that being said, you got to take care of you. You can't pour from an empty cup. And at the end of the day, what I realized with all them people and what I was doing and how I was just trying to be there, like overextending myself, putting myself out there and trying to make sure everybody else was good, even when I wasn't good. You know what I got in return? They took their pants down, turned their ass around, and put their ass. Moral of the story, take care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. I am happy that I'm no longer in the space that I was, um, in the situations that I described in this video, that I start to set boundaries for myself, use my spiritual practices to help me get through these things. I can honestly say that the reason why I'm able to speak on these things now and not even hold grudges, I'm just speaking on it, hoping that this helps somebody else, is because I'm actually truly happy and truly at peace. And it's not a mask, it's not a front now, it's really real.